Hey guys, brand new podcast, and I'm really excited for this one. Did I mention that the Tops Off World Tour is starting January 8th in Oslo, then Copenhagen? No, it goes to Oslo, Oslo, Stockholm, Berlin, Copenhagen. Copenhagen is, I think, how you say it. Then we go to Dublin, Greece, Manchester, London, Glasgow. I wonder if I'm saying Glasgow right. I feel like I am. Do you like this outfit? I bet you do. Pretty fucking sick, right? I love this robe and I love this hat, and I can never go wear the hat until I got the robe, and now I just wear the robe and the hat walking around my house. Tops Off World Tour. We're then back in the States after London. We're doing all the UK, ending in Birmingham, and then Williamsport, Pennsylvania. We've added a show. Hershey, Pennsylvania. TD Gardens. We are adding seats. I promise you. I promise you. I promise you. And Tampa, the Amalie Arena, Orlando. Green Bay. I've got a bunch of dates. Go to Bert.com and check out your dates. Let's get to the podcast. It's a great one. Guy really needs no introduction. We have a good conversation about mostly about his childhood growing up in Arizona. We talk a little bit about his comedy crew, the Sandler, Farley, Rock. I mean, he's got the coolest comedy crew. We talk about that, but it's a great conversation. Skateboarding. Ladies and gentlemen, stand-up comedian David Spade. What part of your back hurts?
It's more my neck, to be honest.
For real?
If I'm being honest, yeah. Force it? You want me to go more like this?
What? When did you have neck problems?
I've got the Cumsucker 3000. I don't know all the names. Okay, my neck started in high school. I fucked it up. So
for real?
It's really not something that happened because everyone just because I'm old. They think, oh, you're old, but it's more that a combo of being old. But when you have something that already was there, it just sort of gets worse. But I stay on it. Believe me, I put most of my money into it. But
really, have you ever had surgery?
No, I don't. You
don't believe in surgery?
I don't think surgery's the one. I think it's just the muscles are so locked, so tight. I got to find some way to loosen them. But I haven't even done those shots in the neck. You know,
stem cells.
I have done stem cells.
I did stem cells.
I did it once and didn't do enough. I sort of believe in that, but it didn't do enough for me. But it's also just the whole lifestyle. It's food. I mean, at a certain point.
Wait, what's your thing? Like my thing's obviously booze, right?
Oh, what's my vice?
Like, what's the thing where you go? I wish I could get that out of my life. I don't wish I could get booze out of my life, but like everyone's like, are you a sugar guy?
No, I quit sugar pretty much in high school. I was falling down. I was fucking fragile, dude. I was like powder. Actually, I was like Lucas. I went out for football. Remember Lucas, that movie? I got fucking creamed, and the coach goes, "Get out of here!" Like he was trying to save my life. He basically dove over me in a tackle. He goes, "Everybody, stay away."
Wait, were you bigger in high school?
I was 114, and then with full pads, I weighed about 130. But I was trying to go up for varsity, and I just kept getting creamed. And
I was the opposite. I went to a predominantly a very private,
predominantly
school? Jewish school, but it was a lot of Jewish kids. So I say predominantly, probably 5, but that's a lot in Tampa. Yeah. And so
you're in Florida, yeah.
So I was playing varsity football in 7th grade. Or no, JV in starting JV in 7th grade.
Really?
And then, yeah. And then so I was very confident that I was maybe the best. I remember being in church, thanking God for my gifts.
That is good, though.
And then I went to a Cuban school and got lit the fuck up. I was like, okay,
yeah.
I'm not.
Oh, right. You played, yeah.
I'm good at this very small private school, but even baseball, I was really good in baseball. I was like, I'll just make freshman year, and I didn't make freshman year, and that's the first thing I ever failed at.
That's humiliating. That really rocks you, though, doesn't it?
I think you need it.
Yeah.
You need the moment where you look at the list and don't see your name on the list, or the moment where you're standing in line and coach goes, all right, I'm going to call out the names.
Oh, that's horrifying. Yeah.
I had it happen the last comic standing too, and it was just as bad.
You know, my mom used to say, these failures, you have to have some failures. And then I said, I've had no successes. And she goes, shouldn't it be a mix? And because it was like, got cut from baseball, got cut from football. Didn't try cheerleading, but everyone was sort of inching me that way. Like, but I would sit with the cheerleaders and then watch because I had nothing to do.
Yeah.
And when I actually got into a talent show because I saw it when I was a freshman, and I said, oh, they're doing like more of a variety show just for fun. And so I said, oh, that might be fun to kill time because I don't do anything else.
Yeah.
I just skateboarded and knowing that wasn't a panty dropper. I thought it would be, and it was not. It might be later. It might be now.
Now it is.
But it was fucking...
Now gaming's a panty dropper.
Gross, yeah. I mean, I could have done that. I'm lazy enough. I could have done that.
Wait, is your brother bigger?
I'm the baby. My medium brother he's about the same. And then my other brother's bigger, and he was like a fighter, yeah.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, like he would fight people. He was taking all the energy from my dad leaving us and beating people up. Actually, just trying to survive. We went to a predominantly, I'm acting like that's a word because you said it, black Spanish city for a 4-year run there. So it was probably 10% white. So we were just bullied, I'll say subtly.
Yeah.
And when they said frog, they had games that steal your money. I would just get the shit kicked out of me by everyone.
Yeah.
Black, white, anyone who was bigger, tougher. I was a pretty easy mark, they call it. And so but the point is I would bend and I would do what I was told. Give the money, pushed into a wall, don't fight back.
Swirly.
My older brother would fight him back.
Really?
And that sort of set him off on a path that was tough because he would fight back and defend us too. And then he got known as a fighter. Then he got kicked out of school. And then that follows you. And then you're known as a problem. And then it was really not his fault. And then he gets some gangs. There were some problems with that. And then we finally moved. But he had like a record. And now it screws you up for the next thing because you're going to college and they go, oh, you're the guy. That's a problem. And so he just had a tough time after that. And they went into construction because they never like check anything.
Really?
Yeah.
Two brothers?
You just show up on the lot and go, hey, I can use that forklift. They go, you're hired, So they don't know background check. No. So my two brothers, yeah. One went into advertising and fashion and the other one is still construction. He's great. So
yeah. Here's a weird thing. I think people on the outside always think, so like if you have a brother, say, that does construction and then people go, oh, do you give him money and stuff? But I have a sister who works at an organizing company. I definitely don't give her money.
Oh,
like I don't.
She's wondering too. One time Tom Hanks, she's like, because this reminds me of Tom Hanks' joke that he was, height of his career he was doing great, and then his brother was a waiter at the Improv. So everyone's like, and he kind of looked like him. He's like, that's Tom Hanks' brother. And this is a while back, so during Splash, all that. But he's a huge star. So he's a waiter, and he went to do stand up, and he goes, I'm a waiter here at the Improv, and Tom Hanks is my brother. And a lot of people say, why doesn't your brother just give you $1 million? And he goes, does anyone know? Why doesn't he, this fucking asshole? I ask it every day. So I do help out with the family. Like anyone, my middle brother made a ton of cash, so he's fine, but he's got some beans in his jeans. But, it's just spread it out, keep it even, whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
This makes life easier, I guess.
So wait, were you always, because like you're kind of the prototype, like I'm sure you know this, but like the prototype is the David Spade character.
Okay.
Like the guy, if you meet a guy at a wedding and he's funny as shit and he just kind of stays under the radar.
Oh yeah, okay,
shoots a shot.
Yeah.
Were you always that guy?
Yeah, whispering jokes with no confidence in school. And when I was in that town, that was kind of scary. I mean, listen, that's all possibly. I don't want it to be debunked and anyone to look it up and realize I had all private schools. But there was a run there where it was tough. And then I went to Scottsdale after that, and that was a little Scottsdale. But that was better. It's like, people. So we were like not well off, but in a good town. And anyway, I really liked it better. It was just more fun. And but when I was in the town, the copper mining town, it was a little tricky. So I was just trying to get along with everyone. I was just scared every day.
Yeah.
So you're going to school scared. I'm deciding what to wear because if I get in a fight, like I have to have something loose on. So, by the way, I'm losing right away. It's more like also checking out a scene going, who's going to break it up? They didn't believe in tapping out.
They didn't believe.
There was no honor.
There was no tapping out.
It was just like, I'll keep hitting you until the coach comes. So that was it. And
that was the scary part about being a kid. I'm a little bit younger than you, not much though, I think. And so, but the scary part was that I remember I remember talking shit to a guy on PE, and then
I didn't talk shit to anyone.
no, but like just being like, because I had this confidence that like no one's gonna let this happen, you know. And I'm like, I could just, you know,
like you'll get away with it. No one's gonna fight you.
Yeah, go fuck yourself. What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
What are you gonna do? Oh, then do something. And then the coach is like, do something.
Oh, really?
And he was like, you guys fight. And then I was like, I remember
I don't like it.
It was I had my it only happened 2 times. One time was in college, and someone was like, stop breaking them up. Let them go outside and fight. And then I was like, whoa.
That.
The breaking it up is the part I'm confident about.
Yeah, if you give me 20 seconds, I can get a few punches in. People don't realize you get winded at about 25 seconds. Like you go with everything, and then it's like, God damn, am I tired already? And that's why when you see UFC fights, you go, they know what they're doing. And even they're tired. They do this all day, every day. But you get a little adrenaline, and then it's over. And then I'm just pre-tapping out. When I get in a fight, I tap twice and just wait. And then they hit me, and I go, that's 3. That's 3. I hit touched. You have to stop. Look around. No one's backing me up. So it was skateboarding. I was good in school. And so again, not what every woman is looking for in grade school. Chess, spelling bees, all that stuff. And so I was sort of smart, and then it dissipated quietly in high school, and then just sort of ended high school with a whimper and went to community college.
Really?
Yeah.
You seem like someone would go to a big state school.
That was the plan. What happened with the plan is that I was smart from 1st grade to 8th grade. And so that was my hook. And then I was in 8th grade going, maybe Princeton, maybe these places. And then in high school, my brother was cool. My other brother, Brian, was still there. So we had 3 at the school. And so we were kind of cool. And I walked in from a skateboarding accident with 2 casts on my arm. So the first day, I have quicksilvers, I have white hair. Yeah, I broke both wrists in a pool.
Oh my God, my daughter Isla did that. She broke one arm, and then right before this cast broke off, she broke the other arm.
Oh man!
And I had the hardest I've ever laughed in the world.
Was when you stole her Percocet?
No. We went to Starbucks by our house.
Yeah.
And I said, I got her and Georgia a cake pop. And I said, you carry them both. And she was like, okay. She had a cake pop in his hand. And she was trying to get one into her mouth. And I watched her do it privately, silently, like,
oh no.
And then I was sitting there watching. I was laughing so hard in the corner of Laurel Canyon and Riverside. And I was laughing so hard I couldn't stop laughing. Yeah. And I couldn't get my phone out fast enough to videotape it. And she's like, and it was so honest. She's like, stop and help me.
Because you're a prick to the core. You start rolling.
I'm so bummed that kid isn't identical. Here's the thing your mom said that is right, but is wrong.
Yeah.
So you need those failures to define who you're going to be. You need them.
Yeah.
But like Isla got bullied. She was into anime when she was young. And she was very like found her thing. And she was the purest.
No, and it went
and everyone started bullying her about like being the type of person that would like anime. And she just then was like, I guess I don't tell anyone anything anymore. And then she started closing up who she was to protect.
That. Sure. I think that's what happens. I was into I collected coins. And I did show it off to a girl once. My mom even was like trying to get me some action. She goes, okay, you got this chick coming over. And I had, listen, showing her the coin collection was not the plan, but I have no plan. I think it was 6th grade, maybe 7th. There's plenty of boners happening, but there's no, how do you get from there to there, you know? Yeah. So I was so awkwardly fucking terrified. And her name, Delight Cummings. Her name was Delight. Delight.
What
Can you believe it?
Delight Cummings?
Cummings.
Jesus.
She was in porn in 6th grade. Or either that or her mom knew where she was headed.
Whitney's like, I guess I didn't have it that bad.
Oh, yeah. Whitney Cummings. Yeah. Maybe related to Whitney. And she was fucking drop dead gorgeous. And she came by, got her. Very hard to get someone without a car. 6th, 7th grade. She got dropped off or whatever. She came over, went upstairs, closed the door, which is a big one. You're not supposed to close the door.
Yeah.
And I went, me? I think she acted like 35. She was super hot. I was like a baby to her, and she was like, maybe smoking. And then I go, look at these dimes. And I pulled out my dime collection. I go, it's not only dimes, but I'm just starting with dimes. Like, don't worry, there's more hair. Because she looked a little glazed over, and I go, oh, no, there's $50. I got all of them. I just want to start with it. I go, that's a 1916D Mercury dime. That's worth $125 today. Not 10 cents, you would think.
Yeah.
125. She was like, fucking pussy, shoop. Fucking lit a match on it. I go, well, but I didn't know. I was like, isn't that great? And then anyway, that slowly faded to nothing, and she politely excused herself. But had the coin collection, had a Krugerrand, which was gold, ounce of gold.
Oh, wow.
For a broke kid, sort of got, my parents got divorced, so I sold all that stuff once to pay bills, had to sell the coin collection.
For real?
But, you pitch in. Yeah, pitch in. And it was not going to be worth millions and millions of dollars. It was just what it was then, but we had to sort of band together. My mom, single mom, two jobs, very attractive, sort of pushed the dating to the side to deal with 3 boys.
Really?
And I think when you get older, you realize like how hard that is or how much sacrifice. But, at the time, you just want things. You want to keep up with your friends. You want a car. We could not give a shit if she worked all the time. It was just selfish. Just a lesson in like how to grow up and not be selfish. But we wanted things. We wanted food. We wanted money. We wanted clothes that are cool. But she did her best. And then we get older and you go, oh man, she had it rough. So yeah, very appreciative. She was like the best thing going.
Wait, go back to breaking your 2 hands. You said you broke your 2 hands.
Broke both wrists trying to do an aerial axle stall in a pool, which is not super hard trick. But when you're down deep, a colossal pussy, that's when you start going above the coping. That's when it lost me. I'm doing grinders, I'm doing things, I'm doing one wheel, all the shit. But when you have to have the balls to leave and go in the air, it doesn't even make sense. You go, I'm going farther than the top. And then not just do that and then land, go up, land on your axles, and then drop back in. And I did it wrong, and I fell backwards to the pool. But it was a skate park. So I hit wrong, obviously. Just hitting was bad enough. I just hit. Yeah. And then I rolled over, and they were both cracked. And then it was no sympathy. It was get out of the bowl. Get out of there. I'm next. What are you doing? So I had to grab the board and, you got to go up to the shallow end, which is a bit of a strug and embarrassing. And I'm holding my board like this, my Z Flex or whatever I had. And then my brother said, what's going on? I go, nothing, because he was mad. We just got there. We had 2 hours. So I walked to the car and I laid on the hood on the windshield and I just held my arms out going, oh my God, it's so much pain. And then the skate park guy got my brother and he came over and he goes, what the fuck is going on? And I go, nothing. And they go, you have to take him to the hospital. He goes, no, I don't. Do I have to take you? And I go, no. He goes, he's fine. And he goes, it was 2 hours. We just got there. And we had a Lee car. Do you remember what a Lee car is? Le car. It was like a little yellow car. It's like Le car.
Yeah.
Tiny, stick shift. And Z-Flex. Holy shit, that one on the right.
That's what you were trying to jump out of a fucking...
Yeah, I had Power Flex wheels. I didn't know you had this. Were you doing shit the whole time? Did you show a copper mine earlier? For people that don't know. So anyway, I had a Z-Flex. And I landed. I think those are Bennett hijacker trucks. So I did that. Fell.
You were really into skating.
Fucking loved it. And then
have you skateboarded in a while?
No, I still watch it on Instagram. I watch all the guys.
Wait, but you have such access to skateboarding,
right? But it's so beyond me now. It's so hard, and what they're doing. The good thing of watching these videos on Instagram is that I can tell sort of where my weight would be, how hard it is. Yeah. Like if you know a sport. And so when I see tricks that don't look that hard, I go, that's the hardest one. I go, he's got to go. And I picture it in my head. So I really have respect for that. I still see Tony Hawk sometimes, Mike McGill. There's guys that I used to skate
Christian Hosoi.
Christian
Hosoi, I had his board.
He had a real wide one, like a 10
He had like a hammerhead board.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, I remember getting that being like, oh, this is badass. I remember Mike McGill. I had Billy Ruff. Okay. Was my first board. And,
really rough.
But I got into skateboarding because of Back to the Future.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, that
crazy?
Made it cool. Yeah.
Yeah, and we had a ramp in Carrollwood at Kai Fernstrom's house.
Where's Carrollwood?
In Tampa.
Oh.
And so
pull up Carrollwood.
There's
a Hosoi. Yeah. Oh, that was a Hammerhead. Oh, you're right. Your story checks out.
Yeah.
And then he had the long black hair, right?
Yeah.
And he could do 10-foot aerials.
Gorgeous. He was gorgeous.
Oh, okay.
And by the way, can I tell you, this is going to sound crazy, but
it already sounded gay. Now it's going to sound. Now it's gonna sound crazy. Okay. What happened?
He DM'd me the other day.
No, really?
And I was like, oh.
You get fans
like,
peppered out, huh?
He was like, I would love to. I heard you talking about me, or maybe I said something with Tony Hawk, because he had a run in with drugs, and then he got really sober, and now he's really sober. I always love those guys that are sober.
Yeah,
like Brandon Novak was friends with Bam Margera. I texted him the other day because he's like super. I love when you see a guy who's a complete total mess, and then they really fix it, and then you're like really see him excel.
Yeah,
but
I didn't know Hosoi was. Yeah, that's great.
Christian Hosoi is great. But that was I got into because of Back to the Future, and then was obsessed with skateboarding.
Sure.
And
it's cool.
Well, it died out. There was a period.
Yeah.
It's funny when you talk to Tony Hawk, he'll tell you
it almost went away.
He can tell you can be like hear his story of when he started losing money, and you go, oh yeah, that's when I stopped skateboarding.
Yeah.
In the weirdest way, you're like, yeah, I stopped we were in high school. We all started getting high.
Yeah.
And we were like, yeah, fuck this. And then in college, I was like, oh yeah, we should get a skateboard. Black Buffalo Zero. I just talked about these guys the other day with my two buddies. There are alternatives to so many things these days that are just like the original, but no one really has put the time and effort into creating a high-quality nicotine-free tobacco alternative until now. If you're 21 and over and you chew, dip, or pouches or long cut, you have to try this tobacco alternative, Black Buffalo Zero. Black Buffalo Zero is everything you love about dipping, the feel, the taste, the ritual, just without the actual tobacco leaf, stem, or nicotine. The product is actually made from cabbage leaves. You need to try this stuff to believe just how similar it tastes and feels to traditional chewing tobacco. They make a wide variety of flavors, including wintergreen, mint, straight, peach, and even blood orange. And if you're still seeking that calming burn from dip, you can check out the regular product line too. Black Buffalo's founders looked high and low for tobacco alternatives across the U.S. and even overseas, but nothing delivered the same satisfaction or high quality they were looking for. So they decided, let's make our own. Plus, Black Buffalo proudly manufactures their products here in the USA. You can, of course, get Black Buffalo at blackbuffalo.com, but they're also now in stores across the country. If you want to find a store near you, go to blackbuffalo.com and click on stores. I'm telling you, I am a tobacco guy. There's no better feeling than getting in the bus, getting ready to hear a good story or gossip, and throwing in a dip. But man, I can't go back on that horse. So this is nice. I get the same smell. I get the same flavors. I get to spit. I get it in, and I have a nice cold beer while I do it too. Are you ready to keep the ritual but ditch the tobacco? If so, and you're 21, it's time to get with Black Buffalo Zero. It's everything you love about dipping and nothing you don't. Head to blackbuffalo.com and use the promo code BERT at checkout for 15% off your first order. That's the best offer you'll find, but you have to use my code BERT for 15% off your first order. One last time, that's promo code BERT for 15% off your order. Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical.
You know, what happened was I had all the components of a cool person. By
the way, you're like the coolest dude.
I thank you.
No, but I want to know when that shifted for you.
Oh.
Because because there's a bunch of things that I go, they're markers in my life. Like I was cool in high school.
Mm-hmm.
I was cool in college. And when I got into stand-up, I was no longer cool because my body type, my type of person wasn't the thing that sold.
Yeah.
And so I was like, it was a nice humbling, but you going into the East Village to do a spot and, you know.
Does it sell now?
I think it does.
Okay.
Yeah. but I think everyone always looks at you as cool.
Thank you. It was more from low confidence, just like everybody. Going into school and high school, this is where it turned for me. I had white hair because my hair was blonde. It was really long. So that was cool.
Yeah.
Didn't know it. I was kind of tan. Shocking. I can't really do it anymore. But I was tan. Always outside. Yeah. Cool. Obviously cool because you're young. Turquoise corduroy Quicksilvers. Like a kryptonite shirt from my fucking skateboarding days. And then I go to school or an alligator shirt. And the first day, 2 splints because my drunk stepdad, who was a doctor, wouldn't put casts on them, even though they're broken. I go, dude, do something. There's no Vicodin back then. There's nothing. It's aspirin. I didn't know about pain pills. I was like crying and I go, I broke them. And he's like, he drunkenly took me to the doctor, which was him.
Yeah.
And he showed me, my brother drove me home in the Lee car. And he's like, fuck, I'm going back. So he pushes me out, goes back to the skate park. I'm just like this. My stepdad drives me to the hospital or his office, does an x-ray. I'm over his shoulder with my friend going, there's a line through my bone. I'm not a doctor. I'm just eyeballing it and it's broken. And he goes, it's cracked in half. Yeah. You know what? Let's sit on it and see what happens. I go, what do we sit? What's going on? So we go home, lay down to sleep like this, whimpering. If this is closed caption at the bottom, it'd say whimpering.
Yeah.
And I was like, and then full crying. And then my mom goes, get something for him next day. So I got splints. Then I went to school the first day. So I have these 2 splints. 7 Night Fever. So I go in and girls like, oh, pants. So my brother was cool. And he comes up, he goes, hey, how you doing? Blah, blah. And they're all like, oh, wait, you know the cool guy.
Really?
Here's brother. Yeah. And he had like brown hair, but it was all white from skateboarding and being in the sun. And then all these girls liked him. So they would talk to me to get to him, but no one saw that. They just saw them talking to me. So then the other kids at my school, because we merged, and it was such a breakthrough, because this could never happen. 5 schools merge, and everyone from my school is like, wait, this is a fucking nerd, dude. This guy's a geek. And it was too late.
It's too late.
It caught on.
Happened. Yeah.
Yeah. Everyone thought, oh, this guy's cool.
Bitcoin selling.
No. Yeah.
They changed the name of SoFi.
Yeah. And I was killing it. And then they were like, no, you don't understand. Deaf ears. No, but nobody cared. Because it's all based on nothing anyway.
Yeah.
So the coolest guy at our school then hit a wall because he got there and everyone's like, why is this fucking idiot cool again? And they're like, I don't know. We just follow him around. They're like, yeah, he's got nothing.
Yeah.
So he's a paper tiger. Nothing happens with him. He plummets. Sell on him. Buy on me.
That's crazy that can happen.
And then I go, and I'm like, the emoji that goes, pew. So I'm like, cool, skateboarding, brother, other brother, there's a fighter. And then they think that's cool. They think I'm a fighter because I broke an arm. They don't know what's going on. There's a lot of rumors. No texting, just like.
This is the greatest beginning to a movie.
It's great.
Because none of it, like everything's, you're right. It's all in the ether.
Yeah.
Like all of a sudden you're cool. 2 casts, blonde hair.
Yeah.
The girls are talking to you to get to your brother.
Yeah.
It was like you're the first guy to decide to set up shop and sell jeans instead of go for the gold.
They liked me. And they were like, this guy. And so no girlfriends that whole time, but at least in the mix, I was really in buddy jail, friend jail from all 4 years.
Yeah.
Like I took a friend to the prom. I got friend zone. So I didn't get on probation from friend zone until probably, like the last month of high school. I had some action. But so I go around and then I do this and then things start to click. So the school plummets. And I always think, who cares? I can get that back in a second. I'm like the smartest guy in the world.
Yeah.
And I remember senior year, I'd done some talent shows and I was getting more into that now. And then I go into my what's it called? A counselor?
Guidance counselor?
Yeah. And I've been sort of slacking with her. So I walk in with my feet up. She's like, what are the college plans? I go, I was singing the same tune from 8th grade. I go, thinking of Princeton, maybe UC Santa Barbara, not sold. What do you think? She goes, well, I'm looking at your grades. And if I pull every string in the book, I can get you in the community college across the street. I go, wait, this shit all? Isn't that like extended high school? And they're like, yeah, you were dumb, dude. I go, no, I'm not. And they go, where's your proof? I go, I mean, ask around. They go, no, they look at this. You're average and you don't get in. So I go, but what about when it didn't count when I was in grade school? They go, yeah, it doesn't count. What about when I went to the state spelling bee champ? What when I was in chess state finals? They're like, nobody gives a fat fuck, dude. So I went to community college and I go, I'll just sweep it there. And I didn't, and it was hard. I go, what's going on? Then I go, I think I'm dumb. I didn't even, and I was so sure I wasn't. And then I go, I got a 3.25. I was doing cartwheels. I go, I'm going to get a 4, or maybe I'll get like a 5 because I'm going to do so good. It'll be like higher. And then I got into ASU after 1 year of community college. It was so.
ASU's Tempe, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's like the border. You just walk right in.
Yeah.
So I go in there and I go, I'm going here now. And they're like, oh, okay. And then I bombed there so miserably, I left. And they're like, I'm sort of known as an alum, but I didn't do anything. And I went to a fraternity. And then, so I was in a fraternity. I was doing stand-up.
What fraternity?
SAE.
Oh.
So I usually.
You are total SAE.
Oh, gross. Don't.
No, you are a complete SAE.
It depends. Because some.
I knew were SAEs. So all the big brothers, my friends' big brothers were SAEs at Florida, and that's where we went. Was SAE?
Oh, SAE, was it cool?
Oh, it was cool as fuck.
Because you never know. Like sometimes you go SAE and everyone goes, "That's the worst one."
SAEs nationally.
They're pretty good. Yeah.
I was an ATO, and ATO's touch and go, I think, in every place, but primarily good. Pike is across the board.
Yeah.
Probably the best fraternity.
Sigma Nu was kind of big at ours.
Sigma Nu was the brother fraternity. ATO and Sigma Nu had been the same thing, and they split. And so we had rivalry with Sigma Nu, but they weren't good at our school.
You know, the thing is, I don't go crazy about the fraternity, and people rag me sometimes on Instagram. I'm not pushing it hard enough, but I actually don't think it's that good for kids. I mean, I dropped out because of it. Like, A, there's hazing. B,
I got hazed aggressively.
It takes 99% of your time because I'm a pledge. Like, hey, 3 a.m., get up here and bring us some river rocks. Like, what's going on? By the way, my brother got me in again. My brother was there.
Yeah.
And he's like, you're not. And he went out, and believe me, when I was a freshman in high school, he's like, don't go to this party, dude. Because he's embarrassing me, obviously.
Yeah.
Because other older brothers are. And he goes, dude, freshmen aren't allowed at this party. I go, it's a freshman party. He goes, well, you aren't allowed. Don't go. I'm going. So I would, and he goes, you look stupid. You know, like I was like, he was cool.
Yeah.
So I get to SA, he gets me, I'm an alum, like Flounder.
Yeah.
And so they have to let me in. So I'm like, I don't really see that part. I just feel like
legacy.
I'm legacy.
Yeah. Legacy, by the way.
Legacy. I'm Flounder from Animal House. So they let me in, and then they do all this shit to me. They make me do stand-up all the time. And I remember, one time we were doing a work party where they haze you. They call you in the middle of the night and go, get down here.
Yeah.
They used to call him in the middle of the night. And I would go, he lived at the house, and I go, I would never do this. What are they doing? You have school tomorrow. He's like, I got to do it. And then I go, I'll never do it. So they bullshit you during rush week. We're going to be your best friends. You're the best guy in the world. And the first day you sign, they go, hey, you fucking asshole, get off and get me a beer. I go, are you talking to me?
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, you dick. I'm like, where's the guy from rush week? I'm your best friend. And they're like, get the fuck down and give me 20. And it was like, I was doing push-ups going, what's happening? Like they scam me. This is all a lie.
I think he's bipolar.
Yeah, I think something's going. Have you guys talked to this? And they're all like that. I go, it's like a horror movie.
Oh, I remember
like a
that.
Jordan Peele movie. Yeah.
You're the coolest guy. Rush week, you get your bid. They party with you. They're introduced. Bert Kreischer's a face guy, which is like the biggest compliment. Like, means you're good looking. We brought you in to help us get pussy, and I was like, yeah. And then I remember we brought us in that first Sunday, and we were sitting down. They're like, these paddles and books behind your back, stand and face the wall. Stare at the light. And you're just like, I remember looking at my buddy Jeff Hartley going, the fuck did we do?
What happened?
Well, this is not what I signed up for.
happened?
But you're already in, and you're like, well, I don't want to get kicked out.
Sure.
Like, and so,
yeah, I go, a week ago during rush week, no one mentioned waterboarding, and then they're like, oh, I'm like, what's going on? So anyway, I'm at a work party one night. Get your river rocks, come down here. They're spray painting shit on me. I'm like, they're putting olive oil and paprika on me. I go, I'm sorry, what's going on? Like, am I crazy, everybody? Let's revolt. Let's unionize. We're already a group. We're pledges. We're halfway there. And then
we're already a group.
So my brother walks around. They're screaming us at the front. I'm in the back row, I guess. And he walks up. He goes, how you holding up? And I go, because he's active, you know. He gets to do it every once. He's got a drink. And I go, not good. I can confide in you. And he goes, fuck, do you want some ice? And I go, yeah. I go, can I have a sip? He goes, no, they'll see. He goes, you want some ice? And I go, yeah. And he goes like this, and he goes, hang on. This pussy wants ice! And he doesn't want his other pledge brothers to have ice. I go, I didn't say that part. No, he offered, and then they go, everybody else, push-ups, while this pussy eats his ice. And they give me ice, and I'm like, I couldn't give a fuck. They're doing push-ups. I'm like, give me that goddamn ice. I loved it.
That was the best switch.
I know. It was like slow motion. I was like, raw, quiet. And he's like, raw. And everyone goes, no. And all my brothers go, you didn't fuck us over. I go,
this pussy was so ice.
It would have been a 12-minute slow motion scene. He just pulled up ice.
They told me in a lineup, they were like, one brother came up and was like, hey man, do me a favor. Run in the kitchen and get me a cup of ice water, big cup of ice water. And I was like, I don't think I'm allowed to leave the line.
Yeah, part of you knows it's going on. You're like, it feels weird.
He goes, no. Go and get me a cup of ice water. So I was like, are you sure? He's like, yeah. Grab me a cup of ice water. I'm a brother. I'm telling you what to do. Get me a cup of ice water. So I go into the kitchen. Now, mind you, this all happened in the dining hall. I'm in the kitchen. I'm scooping ice. And as I scoop ice, I hear, holy fucking shit. Bert Kreischer just left the line to get himself a cup of, and now I have a full cup of ice water. I'm like, how do I present? I have to walk out.
You're like, what are y'all going? It's a funny story. No. Just was told. Oh. Yeah, but by the way, so those guys were cool guys. My pleasure. Yeah. It was all cool. I like some actives, but when I left and I finished, by the way, limping to the finish line.
Yeah.
They go, you're active now. And I go, so what's that mean? They go, now you get to do this to people. I go, I don't want to. Like, I just go, I'm dropping out. So I dropped out. And then I go, it doesn't seem, that was the big victory that I got to do it to them. And I go, I feel too bad for everybody because I was doing stand-up. I was working at a clothing store with my brother.
You were doing stand-up at the Improv?
Yeah, I started when I was, first year during community college. I was doing just some, that's how I started. I was doing open mics and just trying it just for nothing. Because everyone left. All my football players, everyone left. So I was in the community college. So there's nothing going on. I'm looking through New Times and it says comedy club called Chuckles. Of course, stupid name.
Oh, so the Improv wasn't there yet?
No. So I went to Chuckles and just watched and I was blown away going, these guys, are they just making this shit up? This is so funny. It's like being with funny people. You go, I didn't think I could do it. But then after a while I go, what if because I liked it so much. And then I went and tried it and I tried it again. It was horrible. But I got the bug. And so I want to do it. So I keep doing it. And then I get to ASU. And now they get whiff I'm doing it. They're like this, get on the fucking fireplace and do your stupid fucking jokes that you suck at. I'm like, okay.
Fucking.
So I get up there and I do it. And then they have me do it like all the time. And they're like, this is the same shit. You did it. I go, yeah, get used to it, dude. Wait till you see my hour. I'm going to be doing that for 10 years. So anyway, it's hard to get better. I have no time and I'm at the clothing store. And then I finally drop out. And then I go, I was making $80 a week getting $20 a set. So I said, that's enough. I can leave now. I'm on my own. And I went out. It wasn't. Narrator, it was not enough. Not enough for a little booger sugar. No, I was just trying to like pay bills, drive my old Volvo and just get to these gigs. And it slowly got up. 20? I was probably 19. Yeah.
Really?
And so I quit school early. My mom was like, oh, but she was like, I like that you like what you're doing. So even if you don't make any money, you like it. So that's a victory. You like it at least.
It's hard to do as a parent.
Yeah.
It's really hard to do. It's hard to, the things that I did, like my daughter just got a septum piercing, in the middle of her nose. Yeah, I know. And
interesting.
Yeah.
When did you rubber stamp that one? That happened before she told you?
Before she told me. She came home for Christmas.
And she had it?
And she had it. And I was in Alaska and she was FaceTiming me.
Is that her?
No. Oh. I don't.
Which one's her?
Not.
That thing.
Yeah.
I've seen it's called a bullnose or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen it.
And I know the thing you're supposed to do is support your child, but you want to be like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah. That's tough.
And so like, if Georgia was like, I'm dropping out of college to start making dream catchers, it's what I love doing. I'd be like, no, you're not.
No.
But so for a mom to go like, no, stand up, which by the way, at the time was not a fucking cash flow.
Sure.
I mean, no one who was doing theaters when you.
Oh, Leno.
Oh,
that was
really?
it. Oh yeah. I know what you're saying. We're in the same boat because we're close to the same age, but it was, by the way, I told Colin Quinn, I go, remember there was no comedy scene in Arizona. He goes, why, is there one now? I go, well, there's something. This was like a sports bar has a Thursday night.
Yeah.
And then this has like music and comedy. And then, so you do all that just to scrape together something, but no one's doing it. So one of the times I got some action and I did a comedy contest at ASU, but I got some action, even though I got third place. I think it was the first time I realized that a female who was a knockout was like, oh, she just like, I was doing something out of the box.
Yeah.
Like that means something. And I go, I got third. I had to remind her, I go, if we're having sex, I got third. I just want to get that up front because I don't want complaints later. Like you said you won. I didn't say I won. You were there. And so we fooled around and I was like, oh, because you know how like you can like a girl for a talent now. Like you can like someone else. You go, oh, they're really talented, or someone that wouldn't be your type. You're like, ooh, they're good at something. Anything.
That is crazy. That is crazy. Like, Janine Garofalo.
Yeah.
I've always been attracted to her,
Right?
Because her stand up.
If someone's good at something,
I remember seeing her when I was deciding to do stand up, getting out of college.
Yeah.
And she did her half hour. She was like, and the joke was, it's such a, now that I do stand up, I listen to the joke and it goes, the other day I was making out with my boyfriend in this pickup truck on the side of the street, and I thought I'm 35, and it just made me laugh so hard because it was so different than the stand-up I'd seen.
Setup punch or whatever. Yeah.
To this day, I find her to be so like sexy in the word of like what the definition of sexy is. Just the coolest fucking thing.
It should have everything.
Everything. Yeah.
And do you ever see her on the road, or you ever talk to her?
I had one moment with Janine. We did a really fucking weird thing for CISO at Montreal one year, and she went up first, and she was awesome. She talked. It was all off the top of her head. It was all stream of consciousness, and it didn't go over great, but I loved it. I'm in the back as a fan, going like, "This is fucking and this is awesome." I go up, I bomb with like legit material.
I love how comics are so casual to tell when they bomb. Oh, I bomb. Yeah.
And I go back in, and there's a big party, like a CISO party in one room. And Janine is sitting, and I apologize if she hears this and has a different recollection, obviously. Yeah. She's sitting in the makeup area on the floor off to the corner by herself, kind of like curled up. And I go, "Hey, what are you doing?" She's like, "I'm just embarrassed." And I went, "What?" She goes, "I don't want to go in that room. I did so poorly." I go, You're Janine Garofalo. Like, you're like the coolest fucking person in all of it. The only reason I'm doing this set is because you were on it.
Wow, that was nice.
And I was like, Janine, you did not bomb. I said, you are fucking brilliant at what you do. Yeah. Even when you think you bombed, we were all sitting, all the comics, all the CISO people, we were howling fucking laughs. She goes, "For real?" I said, "We were crying laughing." I said, "Please come into that room and hang out with everyone." I go, "The only reason we're here is because of you. Like, everyone's here. And if you go in that room, energy changes." And she went into the room, and everyone's like, "Janine, you crushed." And she was like, "No, I didn't. No, I didn't." Yeah. But, deflected. Sure. But she is. So I know what you're saying.
But, it's nice that you finally see her and you get to say nice things like that, because that means a lot. It means a lot when someone does stand up and they think you're a good stand up. And I remember, Janine and I think, because she was on SNL for a little bit with me. And I think that we got hired to do a Naval Academy. Everyone's got a gig story. I swear I think it was Janine. Again, I apologize why I think it's her. But it was funny because they said before, you cannot swear. You can't say anything. You can't say F-U-C-K. This has to be a clean show for our cadets, like 3,000 people. And at the end, you meet with the general and they decide if you were clean and good, and they will give you your check. I was like, not the good part, but if we're clean, we get paid, right? Yeah. Because you never know if you're going to bum. You can't get mad at that. So I go on. I do all right. And then Janine says "fuck" accidentally in one of her jokes. And she goes, "Oh my God." And everyone goes, "Ooh." And she goes, "I can't say that. Now I'm not getting paid." And she goes, "Oh my God, do you guys know I can't say that? I didn't even mean to say it." And then she goes, "Well, fuck it. I don't give a fuck anymore." And then she said "fuck." She just did a regular act, like a dirty act. Clever, but just said it a lot. And then I think they still paid her. But I was like, "Janine, you're not going to get your $50 or whatever we were getting. You're not going to get it." And I had to go meet with the guy, and he's like, "Some interesting stuff." I was like, "Just give me the fucking money. I don't need a breakdown of my act." Yeah. It sucks. I know. Give it to me. So anyway, Janine, that's a good story. I also went on the other night thinking of stand-up, and I did the store, and there was a joke. There's a joke I do that didn't do well. But at a certain point, you have to say, I like this one.
Yeah.
And when it doesn't do well, like really gets crickets, it's funny how it's still to this day you can go, how am I that far off? Now, this isn't my crowd. Now, if I do it my show on the road, if I'm on tour, if I do that and it really bombs, I'm like, okay, something's off, because these people like these throwaway jokes. These people supposedly like this and that. But the store, I was doing good. That's the weird part. And when you have one that just, you go, did I say it wrong? Like, what just happened? And now you can't stop thinking about it while you're saying your other jokes. You're like, I have to stop thinking about this. But I had to remember, like dog ear it. Like when I get done, I have to go back and go, what happened? But the decision to keep it in, because you go, no, fuck, I like that. And I swear to God, I'm going to see Bert, or I'm going to see Rock. Someone's going to be there and go, I love that one. And
That's
you go,
the one.
That's
yeah.
it. Okay, because I'm not crazy. Someone's gonna like it.
I was talking to Louis the other day, and he said he went and watched my set, and I had this one joke that was kind of working,
Mhm.
and it's not on my special. But we get done the show, we're having a drink backstage after the show. He'd gone up before me and then ran to the back to watch me,
Oh, that's
which is
cool.
the fucking coolest. We get done, and he's like, "Can I give you some notes?" And I was like,
Oh.
please." And he was like, "I love the deaf child joke." And I went, "Really?" He goes, "I love it." And I went, I didn't realize what happened because the second he said he loved it, from that moment on, it started bombing.
Oh, really?
And I realized, and I said this to him on the phone the other day, I was like, I realized what happened is the second you said you loved it, I realized I got gold in this stream. Let's excavate the entire fucking stream and see how much gold's in here. And he was just going, no, there's a little bit of gold. You did it. Leave it there.
Oh, you
and so
fattened it up?
I fattened it up so much
boy,
that it
yeah.
turned into this
I've
big
done
thing.
that.
And then right before the special, I was like, I bailed on it because I was like, I don't know what Louis is out of his fucking mind. And then
just gone back to the basics.
I went back to the very basics and I made it very quick. And I said, he goes, yeah. You fatten it up. He goes, you just need to keep it skinny. It's better skinny. And I went,
yeah,
God
you know,
damn it.
sometimes you go, that joke is only one laugh. It's a good one, but then you try to mine some more out of it or run with it. And have you ever done something where you're doing so good on the road? Now you start tagging a bit. Now you're tagging it.
Yeah.
And now it's got 8 tags and they're killing. And then you go somewhere and you don't do well. And I'm like, I'm doing the tags and I'm like, oh, wait a second. Let's just get back to the regular joke because these were just, you know, gravy on top of it. It worked. You have a good crowd. So you just keep going. They like everything. And then you get caught in these tags. I'm like, I'm in a vortex of tags. I got to get out. Like just cut your losses.
I was in the position where I would start, when I first started telling the machine story, I was pot committed to a 13-minute, 15-minute bit.
That's a long goddamn.
At the end of a show.
Yeah.
That's when people are like, we should just go get our car. And you're just like, when
Is the machine? Pull the car around.
Yeah. And I remember that so distinctly going like, the feeling of going, I have so much more to say and none of it's working.
Oh, it's not working at the beginning. I remember when I was doing stand-up and I start out bombing and one time I go, guys, let me tell you something. If you don't like the first 3, you're not going to like the last 3. This is kind of what I do. So if these 3 up front are not even close, just go. Because it's all about like that. This is how I think. This is my style. So if you don't like it, pull out.
But it's crazy because when you say we started, that was just Leno. I remember.
Oh, theaters. Yeah. Go back to that.
I remember when I started featuring, I remember thinking, I will never get to headline because you guys were all the headliners, all the improvs, and no one was doing
Oh, you're
theaters.
right. You can't break into that.
And I was like, so wait, how do I get a chance? Because I remember looking at the lineup and it was like Patton Oswalt, Sarah Silverman, David Spade, Norm Macdonald.
Oh, right.
And that was the headliners at the end. That was a sprinkled through a quarter. And then you had Jay Medicine Hat. You had all these guys that are like people you'd never heard of. The Raging Cajun.
Still haven't heard of.
No, but they murder.
Oh, sure.
I mean, like I remember watching. I mean, people to this day will say the Raging Cajun. I forget his real name, but the Raging Cajun is the hardest. Like there's motherfuckers. And then today, I'm so glad that I got through. I got through the beach at Normandy.
Yeah.
That I got through Omaha, and I'm just sitting by the bunker right now, holding my rifle, going, "How long until this is over?"
Yeah.
Because I saw John Morgan. That guy fucking murders. His wife won the lottery, so he doesn't need money.
He doesn't do stand up anymore?
He does stand up.
Oh, he should.
His wife won the lottery. And so she said, what do you want to do for a living? He goes, stand up. And so he does stand up and he doesn't care about money. So the clubs will pay him, whatever. And he's got millions of dollars at home.
Yeah.
So
I know comics like this that they just crunch on the road, man. Dude. It's unreal. Yeah. So you're saying is like the improvs. I love the first San Diego Improv. Mark Anderson ran it. I knew
Mark Anderson. Mark Anderson opened.
He was the owner.
Mark Anderson,
remember that?
Is Mark Anderson the guy that?
Yeah, he's not around. But he was great. He was great. He liked me. He put me on. I was there with the Funny Boys. I think I did a guest spot. He said, come back and open. And then I did, Dave Becky was the manager. Love Dave Becky. And then I did.
I've never met Dave Becky.
For real?
Isn't that crazy?
Oh, he's a great guy. Yeah.
Never. I've always been on the outside of the industry, I think.
Yeah. I haven't crossed your path a lot. And we all do different things, but when you just see comedians, it's just fun to see regular old comedians again. Yeah. And I did the improvs. Irvine, I loved. And you're talking about theaters. I only remember Leno because I went to drop off a VHS tape to somewhere because he was doing Grady Gamage and I wanted to open for him. It, went nowhere because I don't even know if I gave it to the right person, but I was just trying to scramble. And now I didn't know there was something almost really bigger than headlining other than adding shows. You do the improv and they go, do you want to add a night?
Yeah, that was all there was.
And that's where the money was. You're like, oh, that means I'm doing well. But I was also doing a TV show or something or a movie. So I go, it wasn't number one. But suddenly I realized, Alex, one of my managers, said, you should do theaters. And I'm like, oh, I don't know if I can commit a year to that. And he goes, just pull out if you get something. I mean, it's so fickle now, especially with COVID. I don't like to cancel, but they said, no, it happens. So you're doing big theaters and Tom. And then, of course, Nick, there's so many people that do theaters. And I go, yeah, I just want to see what it's like. It's just different.
Wait, you just did the fucking Amelie Center in Tampa.
Right, but I just started up a year ago. So I was always doing improvs. And so we said, let's get with Outback, let's book a tour, and let's just see how it goes. So I don't know what I sell. I go, let's just try it.
Have you done pre-sale yet?
No, I did the tour. I did it this year. It's almost done. And now I'm going back. So was super fun.
What did you like? Did you like theaters? I think you're perfect for fucking theaters.
I did like it. I you know what? It was about 2,500 seats, let's say 2,000, 2,500. And it was sort of perfectly set because we'd fill them up. Sometimes we'd add a show. I don't even want to add a show, really. I'd rather go back a year later. I don't want to go stack them too much or do 2 in a night.
Well,
I get too burned out.
The money's way better for 2 in a night.
Of course it is. Of course it is. And I believe me, I've already been yelled at.
Yeah.
But then I'll go back.
Yeah.
Everyone else gets mad. They're like, are you out of your mind? But then
I can't imagine being a promoter with a theater act who doesn't like doing 2 in a night.
I know.
All the money is made on that second show.
Because they go, it'd look good because you'd stamp added show, second show. I go, I know, but I'll do it another year later. And they're like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? So then I went out with Sandler.
But you know what Tom used to do? Tom would go into Dallas where he could play. Yeah. He could probably play an arena, and he would do a theater. And he'd say 1 show on Saturday, but he'd tell them, clear your weekend. He'd go 1 show on Saturday, and they go, great, we sold it out. And he goes, okay, add a show on Friday. And go, great, we sold it out. And he goes, add a show on Thursday. They go, great, we sold it out. Add a show on Sunday. They go, great, we sold it out. And he goes, now let's start adding second shows on the night.
God damn.
And then he would clean 6 shows. Now he does just strictly arenas.
That's work, though. I mean, it's at a certain point, because in between shows is where it's like not depressing, but you come down from some sort of energy from the show, and then you're waiting, and then they got to flip the room or the theater, and then you're waiting, and then then they go, we're going to start late, not everyone's in. Then we're going to throw one opener up. Then we got the other one. And now I'm almost asleep, and you got to jack it up again and get out there and do an hour or so. And now you're like, fuck. And sometimes people get tired. But I get the idea. I understand money. I understand it all. I might do that in the future. Just right now, I wanted to get a feel for it, see what the burnout factor was. And then I'm still going. I'm going to Wisconsin. I'm going to a lot of places I don't really do. That's a good thing. You go out and do pockets. But don't you run out? Do you run out? Or do you get a bus and go smaller?
What do you mean run out?
Like you do the Ryman and Nashville, which is a great one. Mm-hmm. And then the next time, maybe you get a bus and do Chattanooga, and you do smaller markets with great audiences, but they don't get hit all the time.
So yeah. So what I like, I do 2 things. My agent's uncool with this, and we have to live with that. So I go, my first theater tour, I did major markets. Yeah. And then my second theater tour, I did outside major markets. So instead of, and I would also do major markets, but I do Chicago, and I do a theater, and then I do everything around Chicago that I could. Yeah. And then the next
you're legally allowed to do.
Yeah. That
I'm legally. People don't know that. Yeah. You can't go too close to another gig and bump it.
And so, and then this tour I'm doing, Tops Off World Tour, that starts in January in Europe, and then I'm doing just arenas.
Europe.
I'm just arenas in major markets, so like Tampa, Boston, Milwaukee, Tempe. I'm doing the Mullet Arena. I'm doing 3 shows there.
Where in Tempe?
Yeah.
What arena?
Mullet Arena. You
said mullet?
I said mullet.
And I don't know about it?
I said mullet.
Pull it up.
Mullet Arena.
The one thing you don't fucking pull up. The one thing we want to see. I did Gamage. Gamage is great. I haven't played it actually now, but I played it when I was starting out. Mullet is
It's a hockey.
oh
ring.
hockey. Yeah, I just did some hockey with Sandler. That's what
I just told you that. I said you just did Emily in Tampa.
That's what it was.
Yeah, I talked to Judd, and he was like, yeah, I just did it with Spade.
Yeah, great time. But I don't do those on my own. So this is Sandler.
You can do these on your own.
We have different,
Sandler. Okay, so, I mean, this will get super in the weeds. Sandler does these are minor league hockey arenas,
right? Which
minor league hockey arenas would be the equivalent of you adding a second show.
It doesn't. It's funny because it doesn't have the oomph of saying you're playing like Staples Center or where the Wizards play. You get the basketball team. You go, the Squirt Cats? We're playing that. And they're like, the what? And I'm like, it's the hockey team.
But they're the best. They've got gyms in there.
Yeah.
They've got great showers, great facilities.
Oh, it's great.
And they give you a jersey.
Yes,
the team shows up. I mean, I love that energy. I love that energy of America. Like, that's my favorite part of America. That's why we do minor league stadiums.
Yeah.
Like when we do the fully loaded. Because I love that fucking thing.
Well, first of all, they're more appreciative that you come to their town. Second of all, they're exactly as good as any other fans. It's just they don't get the traffic of like they're not near a major airport and that's just the way it is. So, what the fuck is this guy doing?
Moving your
you have to move it? Oh, did I go out of frame?
so we
Stay on me, guy. Yeah.
But that's the business model is you can go into big markets and you go into small markets and then you can do like one full arena tour where you're doing the big markets. And so that's tops off is this fall for me. And then we'll go into fully loaded. You got to come to a fully loaded date.
Fully loaded is the name of the tour.
It's fully loaded. Fully loaded. I bring 10 comics with us. We all get on a bus.
I didn't know that.
We all get on a bus. We do minor league. We do minor league stadiums. We're doing,
he pulled up the Herbie fully loaded.
Closing out this year at the Gorge.
Well, Nikki went out with you for a little bit.
Yeah, Nikki went out. That was us at Fully Loaded.
I would see you at a couple places on the tour when you're doing outside.
Oh, they're funny.
Was it racetracks or were you doing?
We did a racetrack. We did Thunder Valley, which was fucking crazy because Shane Gillis went out and started singing Rocky Top, and the whole place started doing it. Fun. And then when Joey Diaz came out, they started stomping because it's Thunder Valley.
Yeah.
They stomp on the things, and it sounds like thunder, and you're in a valley. It was fun. Like I get chill bumps thinking of everyone. I'll say everyone had the greatest experience because
I mean, it looks like when it's fun like that, when you're on the road alone, it sucks when you're on the road. But when you get a few pals with you, or you get some good comedians, and then you're all fucking around. I went and saw Rock and Chappelle last night. Actually, I just wanted to talk to Rock about something, so I had to leave. But I went, saw him, and then I went into the forum, and I was like, "Holy shit!" It's like a whole thing because
were they in the rounds?
They were in the round. So I don't know how they do that.
That's fucking great.
And it looked like fun. I think Donnell was on.
Donnell, Rick Ingram.
Rick Ingram was on too. Yeah.
Rick Ingram.
All those guys are great. They were doing good. And then, but Rock, there's, people backstage, there's Chappelle's, it's just crazy. It's so much commotion and they're like big dressing rooms. But I was like, dude, I'm going to get out of your way because don't you want a second just to think for a second because too many people around.
Is it not like that with Sandler?
It is, but it's a little quieter because we're on the road. I guess it's because they were in LA.
Yeah.
But when we go on the road, it's just us, and we don't really let a lot of people come back. So we just go in his room and eat, and then watch football or whatever, because he has the biggest dressing room. We just fuck around, and we're all rotating. Like I'll go into a week. I don't think I got Tampa, or maybe I did, but I've done Tampa recently on my own, and then I did it. I jumped on his tour, and when I was saying about his tours, they were like 8,000, some were 4, some were 12. But the bigger they are, it takes a second to adjust because at least he had screens. So you can see smaller. Because when you're doing smaller jokes, but it's people are yelling Joe Dirt, they're yelling shit. And if there's any silence, someone yells. That's hard.
Yeah.
You want them
you have to keep
stay on them.
And when you hear stuff, you have to fucking barrel through it.
Yeah, and you can't, if you answer one guy, then they go, oh, we're doing this now. And a lot of these comics right now, and I understand, are putting crowd work on Instagram. Have you noticed this?
Yeah.
TikTok?
Yeah.
And I understand people at home because you don't.
Right now you're talking to Mark Normand.
Hey, this guy. So they yell out, but what it is because you don't want to burn your act out. I think so.
Mark Normand's very fucking quick, so you can say, and he writes all day long. Yeah. So they go Kanye West, and he's got 9 Kanye jokes. Where he rattles them off. What happens is And that's his thing, and I'm not going to stop him from doing his thing, and
Sure.
I won't critique it. I won't
He's
say
good
a word.
at it, yeah.
But it does happen where people think, well, Mark's a great comic. Bert's been doing it longer. I bet I could yell out crazy shit and he'll say it.
I want to be a part of it.
Yeah, and you're like, but for me, they yell out. I get the stuff that you get where it's I don't get Joe Dirt, but I get like Kool-Aid and or like Two Bears references.
Yeah.
Or The Machine. I get that content. I'll tell it.
Yeah.
But
it's hard because it stops momentum, it stops flow. And these comics that do it online, which I understand, and I would probably do it because you don't want to give away your act. You're working on your new hour, which is very special. You don't want it to get out there, but you want to keep momentum of people seeing if you're funny. And it's a world of now TikTok and Instagram where you have to get these out, and they need to see you out.
Mm-hmm.
But the accumulation of all of them makes people psychologically go, oh, people are yelling at clubs again. And then you go, that's not really the point of that, but that's the offshoot of it, which sucks. Oh, there's Sandler's tour, yeah.
So pull up Adam Sandler Tampa. That was fucking beautiful. That was one of the coolest things. Everyone I know went to that. I grew up in Tampa. Everyone I knew went to that show. And then and people were sending me pictures because I think my show is at the Amalie Arena.
Okay.
And they were like, oh my God. Like that was cooler than me performing at the Amalie Arena.
Yeah.
Was people that I grew up with.
Yeah.
Being at Adam Sandler's show.
Yeah.
Seeing I was going to play the same venue, and then I got everyone hit me up. They're like,
it's fucking,
dude, you've made it. And I was
venues are huge. If you can fill these places up, it's unreal. He does a whole thing. Sandler's got like video screens. He's got guitars. He puts a spotlight in the crowd.
I would love to get in the weeds with what his fucking overhead is.
You would know more because now you do it. Like there's a 18-wheeler out front, and it's crazy. There's so much shit going on. So
I would want to go. Do you own your screens? Do you own your stage? Like all that stuff. I'm so fascinated by.
Well, it's like now I think with the whole thing about theaters we're saying is so many people do theaters now, and I'm shocked because it's a whole new world. Like it's a big deal, stand up.
Yeah, it really is kind of crazy that many people do theaters, considering when I started, I remember seeing it like you see. I remember one time I fell off a waterfall and I had to climb out of a ravine 210 feet. And I remember thinking, I'll never get out of this. I may never get out of this. And I had to do it on my hands and knees because my legs didn't work. And I remember that only other feeling I had was when I'd see like you, Rob, everyone was doing improvs. And I was like, I remember, this is a callous thought, but I was like, those guys are healthy. They're not dying anytime soon. Like I'm not that much younger than them that I'm going to have, like, they're not going anywhere. They're all going to be here forever. So
those slots are full.
Those slots are full in perpetuity for my lifetime. Yeah. Like if I was 17 and starting, I'd go, I'll have my shot. They'll all be retired. But I was like, fuck, I'm never going to be able to do that. And then I didn't, and then comedy started blowing up because of you guys, because of all you guys were so talented. And I mean, you might have the coolest comedy clique ever.
Wow, that's nice.
No, but you know that. I mean, think of the comedy cliques that they've had. Yeah. You got like, one of the coolest comedy friendships ever, obviously, is Bob Newhart and Don Rickles. That's the coolest.
Yeah.
Like, but you get like the Kinnison, Dice, that era. Yeah, like they're like, but your comedy clique. I think I've said this to you before, but you guys define so much of our personalities. Like I was saying to someone that I've played I've been every character in Caddyshack throughout my life. Yeah. I'm Rodney Dangerfield right now. Yeah. But like you guys, when we were in college trying to figure out how to be funny, we were like, we'd watch your movies and go, oh, that is the way to be funny. The same way kids did that with Borat. Sure. So we would just copy what you guys did.
Well, what we did, I mean, Aykroyd, Belushi, all the guys, Bill Murray, Chevy Chase.
Was that?
Yeah, when you'd watch Animal House, you'd watch Caddyshack and Stripes and all those, there's a million movies, Animal House and blah, blah, blah. You just watch them. Vacation was great. I mean, I was a comedy movie junkie like everyone else, and you just talk to your friends about them and talk. And when someone would come to me and go, we used to watch your movies, and it hit me, I go, if that's anything like what we used to do, then I see why it means so much.
Everything.
It's everything.
It's everything. It's like the fact I said this on a podcast the other day. I don't know. I'm sure it'll get back to you. They're like, what's your biggest accomplishment in comedy? I said, I don't like none of that matters. I go, the relationships you make. I go, the fact that I get voice text from David Spade is a mind blow. But the fact that because you don't have to be a nice guy, you know, like, and that's, you don't have to answer this question, but I'm sure your comedy heroes came back to the place they worked and you were working there.
Yeah.
And I bet there were times I've heard, you know, not so nice things about certain people.
Sure. And
I go, you could have been one of those guys and you weren't. Norm could have been one of those guys and he wasn't. Sandler could have been one of those guys and he's not. Every Rock could have been. None of you guys were cunts.
Yeah, I think it might be because of we realize it's a lot of luck involved, and then you're just glad you have a job you like, and then all the comics you've been every step of the way. I was an open micer. I was this. I was the MC. So it's hard to shit on everybody when you go, it was exactly me, and you can make their life worse and ignore everyone, or you can be better. But usually comics get head nods high. They're always my friends until proven otherwise. So I will always start by going, hey, anyone backstage at the Comedy Store, anyone on the road, anyone says they're a comic, even if I don't know them, start out cool. And then if they're not cool, then, you fade out on. But overall, it's sort of like a fun group knowing you're all just in this uphill battle together.
Yeah. It's crazy. What time is it? I know you got to get out of here at noon, and we're coming up on noon.
Yeah.
We'll wrap this up.
This is like doing a second show. We'll do it again sometime.
Yeah, we'll do it again sometime. Yeah, we'll have a second show. By the way, the second show will get better numbers.
Is that what happens? You do a city and then you come back. That always baffles me. I go, so everyone's coming again, but you say, I got a new hour. Is that what the trick?
I do a new hour every year.
So the trick is you do it. They like it. They tell their friends. And some people missed it. Obviously, they can't do every night. So those people come that missed it. And then the same people go, oh, I'll come again. It's different. Yeah. But I liked it, but I'll come again. So you don't double it, but you pad it more.
I write a brand new hour. So I'm writing a new hour right now.
That's the fucking hard part.
This one's been hard because
you want it to be as good. You don't want people to go, I liked it a lot.
Yeah, but it's not going to be. I think they know that it's that towards the end of your tour before you shoot a special is when it's like, boom,
singing.
Yeah. Oh, really
changes almost nightly where you add a tag, you add this, you think of something on the road, and it starts to get changing. Because Rock was saying, he goes, I'm going to do a million fucking dates. But he goes out, he will bust his ass in clubs for a while just to hone it. And then that could be a special. But then he starts doing it and it's changing slowly by the time he shoots it. It's almost, Sandler did that. It was when I saw the special, it's like when I was on the road with him, it's changed 50%. Yeah. He's throwing shit out, adding stuff. And then you just go, you could have had a special at the beginning and almost a new one at the end.
Well, Chris, there's so much to unpack in that statement. Chris works more interesting than any of us. He's the most interesting worker because the way he does it is he literally, it's fine to say, I think, but he literally puts absolutely no energy into the jokes in clubs to see if the words are working. And then once he gets it, then he takes it in the theater and then he puts his Chris Rock spin on it.
Yeah. Interesting.
Sandler, I heard he does an hour 45 and he does stand up, then he does music. And I'm like, oh my God. Yeah. By the way, that was when I started stand up, I was a guitar comic.
You were?
Because of Sandler. Yeah. Fuck yeah. I was like, I can play guitar. I'm funny. I can rhyme words. And I did it. And then I got beat up because of it. And so one of the songs was too funny.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And the comic got mad or who got mad?
No, not comic. It was my fraternity house. Yeah.
Oh, my God.
So, but what was it? What was I going to say?
Talking about Chris Rock.
Oh, I got lucky. I got really lucky accidentally. So I got ready for my hour and I lost my joke book. And I left it at the store. I lost it. I didn't know where it was. And I was like, by the way, if you're worried about getting canceled for something you say on a podcast, imagine.
Wait till you look at the jokes that don't even make the cut. You're like, what if I said this? I better not.
I was in a panic. And so I just had to go through my memory what my set list was, which was actually pretty good because it skinnied up what was an hour 30. It skinnied it up into an hour. I found the joke book. And so then starting this new hour, there's like 30 minutes of jokes.
Wait, you found it?
I found it.
Oh, so you go. Do
you know where it was? On my wife's night table.
I was like, if you say Janine Garofalo's pussy.
Oh,
Wait, what was she doing? Leafing through it?
No, it was someone found it and put it on her nightstand.
Oh, okay.
And then she saw it there. And I was saying, I lost my joke book. She's like, that's crazy.
Oh my
That's
God.
crazy. It
Doesn't
had been on
look.
her nightstand the whole time. And then the other day, I come home from Alaska and she goes, hey, is this a joke book you've been looking for? And I went, huh?
Wow. It's like a sex tape. You're like, oh, it's not out there. Thank God.
And then I wrote the
know where it
joke.
is.
And then I wrote this joke. I said to my wife, I wonder if we'd have the same relationship if we lived in the time when I could hit women, hit women. And Dave, I'll tell you is the answer she gave would have gotten her smacked.
Cut us laughing.
Yeah. Oh no, but no, your team, your group, your clique has been like the coolest, you know. And there's been cool cliques throughout, but it's got to be like, does that? Do you realize that?
No, it means a lot for you to say that because I'm not objective about it, but I do like that I didn't have a lot of friends in college that stuck around. I have 2 friends from high school that stuck, but college, it was more of a transition. I didn't get too close to anyone. And then going into stand-up, I started to like stand-ups and like find more common ground. And then SNL, you know, I knew Sandler a little bit before that. I did not know Rock.
Was it fun? Was SNL fun?
I knew Schneider. It was fun. It was so fucking hard, but
Really?
you don't realize till later. You don't know who's going to really stay, you know? I
So
talked to
kinda
Mike
like the
Myers
military?
recently. It was fun. No, you don't know who's going to be like, you'll keep talking to.
Oh,
And then I'm back with Dana, which I was liked on the show, but he was above me. You know what I mean? He was the class before me, but we always looked up to Dana and then talked to him a lot. Kevin Nealon, I see a lot, who's great. Dennis Miller. And then our guys wound up staying close. I mean, with the exception of Farley. I mean, this is, you know, what's funny is, I'll tell you this before I go. This sweater, when I put it on, I realized this is in one of my most favorite pictures in the world. This is 25 years old. This was in that picture. Maybe you can pull it up. It's backstage at Universal Amphitheater of me and Adam, Chris Rock's doing a show, and Farley, and we're all laughing about something. And I go, oh my God, this is the same sweater. I've had this for that long.
really?
If you can see it, put the 4 of us up there. Oh yeah, that third one.
That's it. That's it, right in the center.
Isn't that funny?
Shut.
Isn't
the
that funny?
Fuck up.
And there's one we're all laughing with. But that night was Rock doing it. Yeah, that's when we're laughing because they're taking pictures and Farley's doing bits. He's like, look, it's the 4 Musketeers. And Sandler goes, it's not fucking audio, dude. No one's listening. And then he because he was doing bits like he thought it was a video camera. And then he laughed at that. And then that was it. But that was great. So I got this sweater still and good memes. Good memes.
Thank you for
Thanks,
doing this.
Thanks, dude.
You're the coolest, man.
You're a fucking stud.
You're
Thanks
the
for having
fucking
me.
coolest.